problem.
Okay. Yeah, we'll meet him up there, I guess. Jesus
No
fucking
problem.
Christ. What the fuck? Cortana Jr., those are our friends, you fucking psycho. Halo Infinite is an absolute disaster. Not in terms of game design or anything like that. I mean, on that front, it's an absolute banger factory. But it's been disastrous in its impact on my personal existence, which is, you know, what I care about. I'll give you an example. So I bought Cyberpunk the same time as everyone else who waited, quote, until it was fixed. Jesus Christ. At the Black Friday sale. I figured I could get in there, have some fun, maybe make one of those awful, like, 1 year later retrospective videos that I'm not actually talented or smart enough to make properly. You know, my usual. But I didn't even crack it open until like a day or two before Infinite came out. How the fuck am I supposed to play Cyberpunk now? The remaining technical issues, the glitches and bugs, those don't even bother me. Everyone T-posing inside a cutscene is hilarious, and I hope they never fix it. But it's the gameplay that doesn't make the cut right now. Now granted, I only got like 3 or 4 hours in, so I'm still going to give Cyberpunk a fair shake in the future. Right? Don't call me a retarded cuck just yet. But by every conceivable metric of gameplay quality, Halo blows it out of the water. The gunplay, driving, exploration, utility, movement, the fucking melee. And that's right, I unironically listed exploration. Night City is absolutely beautiful and very technically impressive when the game is functioning, but it's also hollow. Zeta Halo is also beautiful, albeit in a less unique way at this point, but there's always something to do organically. There's goodies to find, bounties to hunt, radio towers to blow up, Marines to save and recruit. I know it's popular to rag on this Ubisoft style of open world where you're wandering around decimating enemy outposts and breaking all their shit until you reclaim the map and all that. And I would be right along with criticizing it in many cases, but I actually think they made it work extremely well here by making the map a bit smaller, packing it pretty densely, and providing a really direct sense of progression through it as you claim the operating bases and complete the more cinematic missions. I also really like the new angle this is for Master Chief, where he's really dropped the ball and now an entire ring is firmly in enemy hands, and you gotta get a little scrappy and take it back, using a bit more autonomy than we've ever had before. That's not me saying that the story here is fantastic or anything, because,
I should have protected Cortana. Stopped everything from going wrong. I failed her. I will not fail you.
Okay, yeah, fuck me. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, this is pretty bad right now. That's not exactly the right word, but it meshes with the open world well enough to justify it in the first place. See, this is what I'm talking about. I can't be making a Halo video right now. I'm not a Halo YouTuber. You have to be good at Halo to make Halo content. You think I can actually enjoy this multiplayer with my geriatric reflexes and worm-infested brain? Fuck no. It's not just that I can't put down Halo in exchange for Cyberpunk right now, because that would be like ending a massage early to go fistfight a hornet's nest. It's that I can't put down Halo to play anything. To do anything. I was gonna go outside for my weekly grass touching session when I realized Zeta Halo has grass. And it's beautiful and green, it's not brown and patchy and frozen and full of spiders and shit. I was actually gonna risk talking to a woman when I realized, wait, when I'm in Halo, there's a nice lady inside me automatically, and all she does is compliment me, and she's only, kind of annoying sometimes. I was gonna join the Marines and turn this hellish facade of an existence into something meaningful. Finally give stepdad a reason to smile at me for once in his miserable when I realized, in Halo, I'm the King of Marines. And I can load 5 of those devil dogs into a Razorback and beat the entire game without having to go anywhere near a recruiter. So here we are, probably several minutes in at this point, so we're gonna have to give a Halo video our best shot. Real quick on the story here, no big spoilers. This game opens with 117 getting smacked around like a little bitch, because, again, it's Far Cry. You're out of commission just long enough for humanity to absolutely drop the ball, like holy shit, we suck. Then you get rezzed and you're basically the guy in the zombie movie who was in the fucking coma and just has to bumble around murdering and getting drip-fed current events. This entire plot pretty much revolves around Chief being late to the party. Crazy shit happened a while ago, you kill enough aliens to earn an explanation, then you do it some more until the full picture starts to form, just in time for you to kill all the big baddies. Like was always pretty typical, and became more pronounced as we got further along in Halo installments. The story is this neat juxtaposition of a massive, epic, fucking war story where humanity's fate hangs in the balance again, and a much more narrowly scoped personal story for our protagonist. Obviously nothing new to the franchise, or, war stories in general, but the balance is pretty good, and neither component of the story was totally insufferable. That is the letting things slide summary, though. This is, in my humble opinion, the best story 343 has told so far, but not even by all that much, and we're all aware that that doesn't really mean a ton. It was passable and was never intrusively bad enough to derail my fun, but is it actually like a really engrossing story with a lot of interesting things to say? No, come on, don't be a goofball. The bones of it are really pretty strong, but it is hard to overstate how forced and weird some of these fucking interactions that drive the story are. I don't want to drop a 7-minute montage of all the awkward scenes and lines because it would literally summarize the entire game's story, but it definitely felt like they had a strong premise and then they managed to pull off some pretty powerful moments. And then they had zero fucking idea how to let these rest or develop organically, so they either keep haphazardly battering you with plot and character points, or they try way too hard to make another impactful moment and the whole thing just devolves to an episode of The Office. The very, direct style of storytelling, combined with the thankfully small cast this time around, does mean we get to know almost everybody really well though, and I found the characters pretty enjoyable. Everybody gets their own little personal arc, and they don't feel like cardboard cutouts. Even the big baddie. Well, actually, put a cap on that. Spoiler alert, I guess. Just skip ahead like 20 seconds or something. The bigger big baddie that ends up being the final boss is the standout shit show. There's like a little hint that you're maybe supposed to be sympathetic to her or something, but she pretty much just flies around saying cryptic bullshit and being overly evil up until her final breath. She feels like the absolute epitome of tacked on compared to the rest of the cast. Hopefully they're going to expand on whatever the angle she was presenting is in the future. Anyway, that's probably all I should cover story-wise. It's not too bad, it's not amazing, some of the dialogue is nice, Cortana Jr. is way better than she could have been, grunts say funny things sometimes. Anyway, that doesn't matter. What matters is motherfucking grappling hook, baby. Let's talk about the good stuff. It is the position of at least one retard on the internet that this is the best feeling combat Halo has ever had, and some of my favorite first-person shooting ever written into code. Movement feels so good. It's almost kind of unfair to compare this to the earlier Halos, as much as I love them, because they didn't have a grappling hook. I can imagine that the purists out there might worry that the speed and mobility uptick will be a detriment to that deliberate and weighty feel of combat that helps the older games stand out, but I really don't feel like that's been lost either. Enemies are quicker movers and quicker shots and can hit like fucking locomotives, while still requiring concentrated fire for you to take down. Chief's new abilities add some flair to things, but they don't turn combat into some horde mode escapade where you're mowing everyone down without thought. It really feels like 343 took a step back and pondered a way to bring back that Halo 2 emphasis on meticulous shooting and battlefield control through smart decision making, while adding in some variety and upping the intensity, which is a pretty lofty goal, but I feel like they nailed it. Time to talk about this map design. We'll go with the easy bit first, aesthetics. Yeah, it looks pretty. It's apparently the most expensive game of all time, so I would hope so. After that cool space intro, there's really only two major visual flavors to choose from here. You got the pretty outsides and the futuristic insides. I never really got tired of exploring Zeta's surface. Trees and grass and rocks and rivers and shit might be a little by the numbers, but they never stopped looking nice, and I don't really feel like it needed to be any more than it was. Inside is a completely different story. There are a couple standout environments, like these training grounds here are pretty cool, but it's a lot of copy and paste glowy metal shit and corridors. Even when you're handed a halfway unique objective, after the second interior environment, they all just kind of feel like dumbass alien houses that you walk through while you shoot. Now I know I've already invoked the lazy Far Cry comparison a couple times, but I want to be clear that Infinite's map and the way you work through it is infinitely superior to any Far Cry game. Sorry if you like Far Cry, by the way, this next bit won't be very kind. Whereas I would rather read the entirety of Jane Eyre while being strung upside down with my nuts in a fucking vice than play another hour in Far Cry 5's lazy map with the never-ending garbage to sift through and the combat that feels like me and the ground and all my weapons are made of fucking clouds. I played through Infinite's map, then beat the main story, then I finished clearing the map, then I upped my difficulty and started a new playthrough. It's definitely derivative of Ubisoft's style, but it's probably the best implementation of it I've ever seen. It's packed to the brim with shit to kill, but it's not just endless filler content. The map is small and has a very finite number of objectives to work through however you see fit. You throw a dart anywhere on this map and you're pretty likely to hit something relatively unique. It's not designed to be played for 100 hours on a single run, but it allows enough freedom in your approach to encourage subsequent playthroughs that can be tackled in a lot of different ways. And finally, because I'm terrible at making videos that flow well, we'll touch on character progression. You start the game with your grappling hook, but you're going to want to upgrade it throughout the playthrough, which was the obvious choice, and I am overjoyed that they didn't fuck that up. Missions in the first half of the game are going to drip feed you your other upgrades and gadgets, like a nifty shield improvement, a sensor to spot those piece of shit cloaking elites, a drop wall, and a dodge button. Good stuff. They're not grappling the hook levels of good, but they're all, they're good stuff. Your materials for upgrading these are scattered around the open world, some in these isolated areas for that environmental storytelling or graphical showcasing, and some in these beefy enemy outposts. If you weren't initially feeling all that incentivized to tackle the open world objectives, these upgrade materials make a pretty convincing argument for you to do so. But again, the map is small and engaging enough that I really enjoyed going for them all. If that still isn't your cup of tea though, your arsenal is going to be plenty of fun without all the upgrades and you don't really have to worry about it. And beyond that, I think that's pretty much all I needed to ramble about this week. If you have any input you want to throw my way, I can promise you that unless I randomly die or go blind, I will read and consider your comment. There's not that many. I'll definitely get around to it. Other than that, have a happy new year, and I'll talk to you guys later.